bloodthirsty former champions face off in an all-out clash of the monsters to see who moves one step closer.
These are going down.
I'm not touching.
To $25,000.
Oh my God.
Why? The most heart-pounding season of Halloween Wars All-Stars starts right now. Congratulations, teams. Led by your all-star former champions, you made it past your first monster challenge.
Good job.
Shriek Squad and Two Ghouls and a Butcher filled their competition with dread by winning the first two challenges.
Oh, yeah.
But your journey to the Halloween Wars title and $25,000 only gets more terrifying from here on out. When you think of the ultimate monster, few are more terrifying than the fiend who stalks his prey while they sleep. The killer with the metal claws from the legendary classic Nightmare on Elm Street. We're talking Freddy Krueger. Now, in celebration of the 40th anniversary of the supernatural slasher, we want you to imagine your own unique nightmare come to life. And to up the stakes in this round, each team must include some Hollywood magic by using at least one special effect that is integral to your story. If you think that's scary, just wait, because for your tasting element, each of you have been randomly assigned different flavors that would keep any food artist up all night. Two Ghouls and a Butcher, you get garlic.
Stay away from me.
Delectable Demons, black licorice. Killer Instincts, seaweed. Death by Deco, olives.
Why?
Scream of the Crop, ketchup.
Oh.
Shriek Squad, fermented plums. Incorporate these nightmare ingredients into a sweet treat that would have Freddy Krueger himself giving his compliments to the chef. You've got just 7 hours. Go.
Freddy Krueger, I love that.
Man, what scares me?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare has to spring from some sort of fear.
Like something like spiders.
Like, what do you drink? What kind of nightmares do you have?
Losing my teeth.
Worse than losing your teeth is having them pulled.
Oh, that's
Someone's pulling
good.
them out.
For our story, we decide that Anna has a living nightmare of the Tooth Fairy, the Tooth Collector.
I could make a tool table that moves. Like it's all of his tools that he rotates through.
I always was freaked out as a child, thinking my toys came to life, or under the bed type stuff.
Anything under the bed, you know.
Dragging you.
Yeah. So the idea is Emily is an artist, and she absolutely loves drawing scary pictures before bed. But tonight, she finds herself being swept into the wings of terror.
Freddy Krueger.
You know how he's got his look?
Yeah, he's burned.
We could do frostbite.
I could probably do something where it looks like she's blowing ice out of her mouth.
We're going to create Freddy's cousin, Frida Frostbite. Freddy died from fire. So Frida is going to be abandoned in the mountains where she froze to death.
Aliens?
Aliens could work.
When you have a dream, nothing really makes sense. So how do we make this weird, creepy?
The UFO is in the shape of a donut. We're going to have Carl, our character, who is a donut shop owner, abducted by aliens in his nightmare.
Oh, okay, what about special effects? What can we do for special effects?
Can we make a levitating donut?
I think it can be done.
Maybe not quite a spider, but more of a mutation of one, or a spider.
More like
a
alien
spider creature. Right? Where are they crawling around?
Well, in Texas, they're all over the farms, the barns, the sheds.
We have
Every time I go to the shed to get something.
The story for our piece will be Farmer John, who follows a green slime path to the door. And when he opens it, he encounters his worst nightmare.
So maybe we can do someone's having a nightmare about the ocean or drowning.
And it comes to life and you're all of a sudden in that, right?
Yes.
That's what's scary about Freddy Krueger.
So the story of the design this week is the pumpkin carver falls asleep while he's carving a serpent. And then when he wakes up, this serpent is attacking him. And his nightmare is the water in the background, and it's just kind of melting. So you see two different worlds.
Killers!
Let's go. You're gonna come with me.
I'm gonna make a torso of our victim out of this and sandwich pieces for her head. Everything out of the same pumpkin.
Eric's gonna do the victim with their mouth wide open, getting a tooth ripped out. And Shannon immediately starts sculpting the tooth collector.
So I'm just forming this rice cereal over this pipe and securing it down to make a base for my skull.
Does anybody like black licorice? Anybody?
I do.
You both do?
I love it. I love black licorice.
It's go time for the tasting element. All I can think about is a brownie.
Bree, what are you planning on doing exactly?
Maybe I should use it like you use chocolate chips in a brownie. I'm also gonna chop up all that licorice, infuse it into the syrup that's for the pata bomb. It's where you take egg yolks and some cooked down boiled sugar, chopped up licorice, and some water. And I cooked all those ingredients to soft ball, and now I'm pouring them in my mixer. Guys, it's gonna be one chewy brownie. I put a lot of love into this one.
Oh my gosh, that looks amazing.
The goals of this swing is converting the backboard as part of the piece. Right off the bat, I'm gonna be using some of the backboard to look like wings of the raven. I'm sculpting some modeling chocolate and then brushing it with a black buttercream. Matt right now is making the crow's chest.
We have no room for mistakes on this, so we're gonna hit it hard.
Yeah, we feel like the underdogs.
Yeah, I feel a little bit like the underdogs. We want to change that today.
Because we hid some of the pumpkin last time. The goal I have as team captain is to really let Matt put out his first pumpkin structure character. Matt, that's looking badass, man.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna make Frida's skull right now. First thing I start doing is I start building Frida. I'm using modeling chocolate because it's a little bit more forgiving. The way that I'm building her is gonna be gravity defying because she's actually in motion of reaching out. I'm really good at anatomy. I use my thumbs a lot of the times. What I do is I bring everything in to get the basic shape, and then I just fine detail it afterwards.
This is gonna look awesome, Kyle.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna start with these little butternut squashes, and I'm gonna make the hands out of them.
For this challenge, Bloodstain's gonna go a little bit smaller than she did on the last one. I think it'll help her get her into her groove again. She can bust out all the little details that show what an artist she actually is.
I've already got 2 hands here. It's been maybe 5 minutes, and I can throw more detail into it as I go.
Oh, yeah, that's
good.
beautiful.
Oh, that's lovely. Alan is going to make this massive pumpkin UFO.
I'm gonna use the entire pumpkin to create this insane nightmare UFO.
And Emily is starting on the tasting element. So what you making, Emily?
Eclairs, because I want it in that classic donut shape, but you can't really fill the rounded donuts without a center.
Because our display includes the storyline of donuts, we're going to include our tasting elements amongst the other donuts on our piece. It feels so good to have one. I feel like we're even in a better space than we were on our last challenge.
This episode, yeah.
Yeah. My main focus is making Carl, our character, out of cake. I know Carl is gonna take almost 7 hours to complete alone. Arm massage.
I need to get started on my spider immediately because it's gonna be a lot of work. I want the spider to have a nice smooth texture. It's a lot of hand sanding. It takes a lot of carving.
Do you want to see the nest?
Yeah, it's looking great. I can't wait to see everything on it.
This is the head of a big sea serpent that's going to be coming out and getting this pumpkin carver guy.
Mike is going to carve a serpent purely out of pumpkin.
This is my favorite tool. It's super sharp and scary, so you can really get in there and make good curves and good slices.
So you just take some royal icing and take our fondant tile.
Gina's going to make the floor out of fondant, and the backdrop is going to be also out of fondant, but layered almost like a topographic effect.
Good.
Yeah.
We clear over there?
Doing the tasting first so you don't freak out on me. I start with the tasting first because it's 4 hours start to finish. I am making a brioche for my tasting element, and it's a sweet dough, so we love seaweed. We get seaweed. We're gonna make a brioche that's filled with diplomat cream, and I also got these little gooseberries, put a kaki on top. Have the brioche open so it looks like a little clam. All right, here we go. You guys, I'm putting this up top of the oven so it can proof properly.
Teams, you have 6 hours left. It's a big day on Halloween Wars. We have all the teams together at last, going head-to-head. So we have Shriek Squad and Two Ghouls and a Butcher, who have already won previous challenges. Scream of the Crop and Death by Deco were in the bottom, so they're really gonna have to bring it if they want to go head-to-head with these other challengers.
Yeah, and interestingly, their sort of, landing at the bottom really was pinned on pumpkin work. We had Scream of the Crop that did incredible pumpkin work, actually, and then they painted it red, and suddenly we couldn't see it anymore.
Right.
And then we've got Death by Deco. We could see that Matt is an incredibly talented artist. He's the pumpkin carver, but we saw it in the modeling chocolate face instead of in the pumpkin. So we're aching for pumpkin work.
Pumpkin's taking really good to the color, Matt.
Yeah?
Yeah. Matt right now is making the crow's head.
With my background in character design, the core of character design is shapes. And so what I'm looking for is sharp points.
What's really cool about Matt is he is a digital animator. And I think that kind of creativity is really going to bring a different genre to the game. How we coming along, Matt?
Coming along. We're getting there.
Are you starting to see the bed?
Oh my gosh.
The bed, I'm gonna be using some cereal treats and fondant. So I roll out a huge big piece of blue fondant, and I have this really cool basket weave texture roller. Oh yes, that's perfect.
Oh, this is gonna be cool.
Eric has to do what's known as a takeaway method. As you carve into a pumpkin, you're taking more and more away. I'm so thankful I have a very knowledgeable pumpkin artist on our team.
Look at it.
It's so perfect. I am sculpting these peanuts into teeth, and I'm actually sculpting like how there's a root. If you were to get it pulled as an adult, there would be a deep root. Bria, come and look at these teeth. What do you think? Teeth.
What? What is that?
Those are peanuts.
No way.
Yes.
That's amazing, Shannon. I didn't even know you could do that.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
How's it going, Alan?
It's going pretty good. I'm excited to get this done.
Alan starts carving all the details in the UFO, gears and buttons.
I think that Alan really is going for it, and he's taken 2 giant bad boy pumpkins. This is going to be so heavy, and it's right there on the very top of everything on their display.
Okay, aliens on.
Aliens on, yay!
That's what I'm up here
for. There you go.
Yeah, and then move towards me.
So we're gonna start on our mold for the pumpkin carver's head. And I decided to make Mike the pumpkin carver, but he doesn't know it yet, so don't tell him. So we're starting with the skeleton just to get the features right and in the right place. So we're doing with the candy coating.
Gina comes up with this great idea. Why don't we do a pumpkin carver that looks like Mike? Gina's gonna make Mike out of modeling chocolate.
All right, I'm gonna make the pastry cream, guys, for the Diplomat cream.
The tasting element is going to be a brioche filled with creme diplomat. I also got these little gooseberries and sauteed those with a little socket. We get seaweed. Furikake is better than just plain seaweed. So I'm gonna embrace the furikake on top.
I'm gonna be building this guy as fast as humanly possible.
I'm gonna start coloring our spider creature.
I have to get color on this spider, and I'm going to be using luster dust on the pumpkin. Our team is really excited to have won the first challenge, but now we're with the best of the best here, and we're still gonna have to continue giving it our all if we wanna make it through.
Okay, all hands on deck.
Yeah, tell me what I'm doing.
Yep, just put it like right on.
It's on. That's not going anywhere.
Here's a nightmare. You only have 4 hours left.
4 hours, guys. 4 hours. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Just gonna make these little faces now.
Blessing is gonna make little snowdrifts out of pumpkin that have people pushing through the ice trying to escape.
I am painting the little icebergs, so I'm gonna do dark around them first, and then white over top to really pop them out. I don't want them to say that everything melts together.
I gotta try to plug this vacuum in so I can get my fog machine going so I can get my ice breath out of Frida's mouth.
Ooh, there it goes. All right,
it works.
I got a little motor, and I'm hoping to make a jaw go up and down on this guy.
We need to have a special effects for this challenge, and we think about the opening and closing of the mouth with the isomalt jaw. The face for the serpent is coming together, but Mike also has carved the body purely out of pumpkin.
He was literally cutting like rings of pumpkin and kind of wrapping them around a rod.
It's a great way to create that shape.
Once we hit this with the airbrush, it'll really turn into a completely different creature.
I think it's cool that this team is sort of doing this really meta kind of design.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a pumpkin carver. Could it be a pumpkin carver we know on that team? That's cute. I like it.
So we had discussed doing kind of an everyman pumpkin carver. Clearly, Gina went with more like a Clooney look. So that's fine. It was a choice, and I respect it.
Fermented plums kind of taste like vinegary and very, very salty. I'm gonna try to play off the saltiness with sweet.
Today, Jonathan is going to create a baklava-inspired cheesecake with a fermented plum and a date coulis and a pistachio fouetting crust.
So my family's from Iraq, and we use tahini, date syrup, and everything that we do. So I figured it'd be nice to kind of tie in all those things. I am making my cheesecake filling now. This is gonna be what ties all the flavors together.
He's going to be forming it in the same spherical shape as our spider eggs.
Put a little tahini. Mom would be happy.
I think the cheesecake actually is pretty smart to kind of add a little bit of weight and fluff and soft pillow, if you will, for the really, really sharp plum to come through.
They're gonna go in the freezer and they're gonna set up later so I can mirror glaze them.
You guys can smell that?
I can smell it for sure. Our nightmarish ingredient is garlic. I don't understand how that's gonna pair well with anything.
I want this fruity flavor to pop out, and hopefully it will pair with garlic.
Emily is going to make a sweet chili mango eclair donut.
I'm gonna fill it with a whipped curd. It's gonna have garlic, it's gonna have mango, ginger, all sorts of flavors.
Emily, unfortunately, she's not that big a fan of garlic.
By using it as a top flavor, we are gonna get that taste right away. And to have the sweetness of the mango chili kind of come and back that up, I think it's actually a smart choice.
There we go. I have to layer our cake, fill it with ganache, ice it, and covering in Malling chocolate. To emphasize the nightmarish part of our story, we're going to have Carl's belly bursting open with donuts. This guy is giving me a run for my money.
Bria, it looks beautiful.
No, it's good. It's good.
Let me smell it. Oh, it smells good, actually.
It smells like licorice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this tasting element look like a tooth. My brownie is delicious and tastes like black licorice, but the flavor notes are too dark. And dipping it in white chocolate is gonna make it look like a tooth and add the sweetness that I'm missing.
Oh, that looks so good. Oh my God. Good job.
Man, I freaking love this. I don't know what it is, but I just love it.
So impressed.
Good.
You're a superstar.
What do we see happening right here with Delectable Demons?
How can you ignore this insane pumpkin face that Eric is working on? It looks like skin.
Yeah.
You guys, you never see this kind of texture on pumpkin. Pumpkin is so wet, and he really knows how to work that paint to create this super matte finish. It's so difficult. He knows what he's doing.
Okay, I gotta start adding teeth now. We'll stay with the peanut theme.
Give me your profile.
Yeah, close enough.
Jamie's working on Farmer John, and she's starting to sculpt the face. Jamie has an incredible talent to sculpt faces to have realistic expressions, and that's something we'll really need from Farmer John.
Nice.
Oh yeah, we have to remember the special effect ooze.
The what?
The special effect ooze.
For our special effect, we want to make the spider look like the mouth is squirting when it bites into Farmer John's arm. To do this, I'm going to utilize tubing and a submersible pump to sort of push that green watery liquid out to make it look like it's squirting. I think we'll be good if we only have it coming out one side.
Okay.
I have my lovely ketchup here that I'm gonna add right into my sugar syrup for the marshmallow. Last time my miso wasn't forward enough in my dessert, so this time I really want to make ketchup the star.
Sarah Arnold is gonna make a honey ketchup marshmallow with a sweet tomato jam in the center and a sweet potato chip on top. And the whole thing is gonna resemble frozen fingers stuck in a snowdrift.
I think I'm gonna toast the marshmallows so that way they actually look dark and burnt and frostbitten. Cheers.
Now ketchup.
That's pretty good.
That'll work.
Right now, I am working on the young victim's head. I'm naming her Emily the artist. I sculpt Emily with some modeling chocolate and dress her in fondant clothes. I'm being conscious of making her eyes wider. You can convey it's a little bit on the cartoony side, but still, I wanted to make sure there was fright in her face.
Oh, Lord.
What do you not like about olives?
I don't know.
Our nightmare ingredient, we get olives. I'm a little concerned because Becky is like gagging while just talking about olives.
I'll try them once I get them mixed with the fig and the wine.
So Becky has this idea about adding fig to the olive, which I love fig. So we're going to make a shortbread cookie base, mascarpone cheese, a fig and olive jam with rosemary olive oil.
All right, here we go. I'm trying this jam.
All right.
That's good. I'm eating olives, Hal.
See? We're going to incorporate all these ingredients into the piece by putting them on a little sugar paint palette.
I'm putting on the fig and olive jam.
Want to hear something really scary? 3 hours to go.
3 hours?
It's not very often I get to touch modeling chocolate.
Along with our donut tasting element, Emily is using modeling chocolate to create decorative donuts, but she actually makes an icing because that's what you use on real donuts. It gives it a realistic effect.
I want to cover this in modeling chocolate so it can look like all these other donuts I'm making.
We decide to use these magnets to have a floating donut. We think this is really going to take our piece above the level of everybody else's.
Let's start with a good layer. Nope. It's
so
close.
if it's pulling that way, so maybe take some of the weight off of that side. This is a key piece on our design, and I don't want to go home because it doesn't work.
This does not want to balance. This does not want to balance. We could take this off. We might just have to stick to the shape of it, and we could spray it with cocoa butter so it's still covered in an edible medium. This is really sensitive, so I think that's really smart. We'll do a really thin layer of cocoa butter. That's the problem with special effects. You never know if it's going to turn out.
This is crazy.
I'm afraid to say it, there's only 2 hours left until time's up.
Come on, Shannon, we gotta move on from the figure and start doing the bust.
I will, I'll get there.
So Shannon has to stack over 12 sheet cakes to get the height of this monster.
Instead of draping it with fondant, I'm going to drape it in wafer paper. So you wet the wafer paper down, but very quickly, you counteract the moisture with cornstarch. It turns it into like a very fabric-like texture. Okay, now watch the magic.
Oh my God, it looks like gauze.
This stuff looks cool, though.
Yeah, I think it's looking good at least, right? It's looking drapey.
You know, the very last time I made tools was for season 4, episode 3 with Kyle for our Mummy versus Egypt piece. And I'll never forget, Shinman said my sugar was overpulled. We're doing a take on an evil tooth fairy. And of course, what goes with teeth? A bunch of dental equipment. So I have to make those out of sugar. Look at that shine. No way it could be overpulled with shine like that.
Beautiful.
So right now, we are going to just test the mechanism before I start putting all the other elements on. The special effect we're going to be using on our cake is one of the wings are going to be flapping away. So we're going to be using a turntable, and putting it in the right spot's really important for this piece. So the bed will fit right here. It's actually perfect right there.
Stop right there.
Hot stuff coming through.
Smells good.
We gotta get stuff on that bottom jaw, dude.
Let's talk about Teresa over at Killer Instincts. In another shocking Halloween Wars twist, Teresa is running behind on the tasting element again.
Is it shocking?
And she started the tasting in the first hour.
Not making this sugar jewel was a pivotal element. This is a special effect. This is where all the terror comes in on that serpent.
If I don't have time, I gotta get this done. Can you help Mike do that?
Yes.
Thank you.
We need to cover the wire with something, even if it's rice paper.
I got it. So right now I'm trying to make a bottom jaw with the rice paper.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I am currently making spider balls out of gelatin. So they're gonna have this like really slimy green color. They're gonna jiggle like a crazy egg, like an egg sack. So it's gonna look really cool. It's gonna give it like a different type of texture that's on the actual display.
It's gonna have a really amazing result. It'll be slightly translucent, the light will show through. We don't wanna just create any old spider nest. We really want this nasty mutant nest filled with different stages of our spider eggs.
I am pouring a mirror glaze on my spider egg tasting element. So it's like slimy, but not slimy.
Oh, Kyle, I need you to see something.
It's super important that we get all the details obvious. Last week, the judges said the detail was muddled because of the color pattern, so we're painting it to make sure that all the highlights are there.
The sculpting on Frida's body, you can see all the musculature, all the details that were lost in the previous challenge. Now we have it front and center. Yeah. The hair, it's just a touch of pulled sugar, and it comes all the way down to her hips.
Yeah.
Also, Frida is going to have lights in her eyes, and her heart, which is frozen, is going to be lit up from lights.
Let me finish the UFO.
We're adding a pretty unrealistic interpretation of a UFO. It's not black and silver, like it looks like a donut, which is insane.
Oh my God, he's got highlights. Oh my gosh, Shalane, beautiful.
I'm gonna need help getting this on there. Be careful not to hit him because he's still wet.
Are you guys good? Because I have to let go.
I got him.
The pole is actually inserted into the body behind him in the back, so it really looks like there's nothing supporting him from underneath. He really looks like he's floating.
1 hour left until all your nightmares or dreams come true.
I'm working on a handsaw.
Jonathan will be creating a plethora of tools for us. He really will be setting the scene with sugar. Jonathan's goal is to make these items look aged.
Can't believe this is sugar. This scares me so much now.
Oh my God, it scares me watching you hold this.
Jonathan makes an amazing pitchfork out of isomalt. It looks great. It's gonna be wonderful with Farmer John holding it.
Looking good, guys.
So I had a little accident. Sugar doesn't really like sharp motion.
I'll just redo it. I'm making this pitchfork again because unfortunately it got broken. Luckily, I'm able to get it done really fast. Oh, that looks even better than the first one. Jamie, pitchfork's done.
Nice.
Please don't break it this time.
Oh, no guarantees.
You have 30 minutes left. 30 minutes.
All right, let's get this guy on. Details really are the key, and I wanted to etch into the wood some of the nail scratches where Emily is getting completely dragged in.
We should put her fingers on now.
So Sarah's working on icicle fingers for Frida, and she's making them long and twisted and pointy, and they just look dangerous. It scares me just thinking about it, holding them.
Oh my God, she's so scary looking.
5 minutes left. This is it. Come on.
All right, 5 minutes, guys.
Wow.
Oh, Jamie, what about all this webbing?
The webbing, go, yeah.
Currently, this is a webcaster.
So Jonathan is going to incorporate the tool that he made, and it's going to spin sugar webbing all around our piece.
You have 1 minute left.
We should also get the fingers in there.
Yeah, any touch-ups?
Okay.
I love it. Nice.
Love that.
These are little details.
Super gross. Okay.
It's just dripping.
Looks good, looks good.
Al,
Yo,
these are going down.
I'm not touching.
Cut, just cut it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Shove it in good. Shove it in good.
3, 2, 1. Time's up. Delectable Demons, tell us about your nightmare.
Anna was always scared of the tooth fairy growing up. And as she's grown up, she's manifested her own nightmare, the tooth collector. The entire woman is sculpted pumpkin. Shannon was in charge of the entire tooth collector. I was in charge of all those sugar piece dental tools.
Eric, I want to talk about your pumpkin work. You have such a great technique and such a great hand with your pumpkin work. I look at it and I forget I'm looking at pumpkin. And Bria, I love all the sugar work that you created. The pointer tool looks so sharp. I feel like if I touched it, I would prick and get a bloody finger.
Let's focus on the tooth collector, Shannon. Unbelievable job here. The ding-dang peanut teeth. The fact that you left the roots of the teeth showing is probably the grimmest part of the whole thing for me. I think you could have pushed yourself just a little bit on the special effects. I mean, there is stiff competition in this room here, so I would have liked maybe a little more creativity with your special effects.
So what are we trying today?
Our ingredient is black licorice. It has a licorice brownie. And of course, to add to the sweetness, it's dipped in white chocolate to look like a tooth.
Ow. Got a cavity.
This is a really decadent, fudgy brownie. I get the chew of the licorice in there, But I'm afraid that because your chocolate is so beautiful, I think it's disguising the black licorice.
I agree with Artie. The licorice flavor is not front and center, but there is an aftertaste, which I really enjoyed.
Delectable Demons, thank you so much.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Our piece tells the tale of Carl, who is a local donut shop owner. He follows a trail of donuts. So Carl goes and gets himself abducted, and he becomes an all-you-can-eat donut buffet.
Oh my God.
Because, as you know, you are what you eat.
Oh my God.
Oh,
It's a PSA too.
classic Carl, you know?
Let's talk about levitation. I have never, ever seen levitating donuts or cake of any kind ever. I don't know how you do it. He is so realistic. The limbs just like falling off.
I don't fully know what it looks like to splay open a belly and find donuts, but I imagine it looks just like that because you are so great at anatomy. With the pumpkin, I think that it's carved really well. I love your little alien sticking out of it. I don't think there's enough contrast in the way that you paint it. So I think that you need to bring your highs higher and your lows lower.
Tell us about your tasting element.
Our nightmare ingredient was garlic, so I went with a sweet chili mango eclaired donut, and then I filled it with a sweet chili mango whipped curd. It's topped with a mango glaze and diced mangoes.
That's a lot of garlic. I think one of the smartest things you did was adding that fresh diced mango on top, because that burst of sweetness and acidity and just juice kind of washes away some of that strong garlic flavor.
So much like your display, this donut is cheerful, it's happy, it's pretty, it's precious. And you bite into it and it is twisted and funky. You did your job.
Two ghouls and a butcher. We're gonna leave before we get sucked up into that spaceship.
Let's go.
Farmer John, he follows a green path of slime to the door, and when he opens it, he suddenly encounters his worst nightmare. We have several tools that were cast out of sugar. A pumpkin spider. Jamie sculpted the Farmer John out of modeling chocolate and fondant. Is it working?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How did it look?
So disgusting.
Okay, that special effect is really interesting. It was gross. The three of you are so talented. Jonathan, there's so much sugar work. I particularly love all the tools and the interlocking chains. Jamie, the farmer is so clean, but here are the things that are not as successful. This is reading very muddled to me. The separation of your parts are not as crisp and not as clear or as precise. Some of the details are not as refined as what you've done in your last challenge.
There are some beautiful bits here. I love that risky move there, Jonathan, with the fan and the isomalt. Jamie, beautiful details there in the face and the arm, and even sort of the seams of his overalls. Christina, I mean, spiders are gross enough, dude. But then you make it giant and you make it ooey gooey and slimy.
What are we tasting today?
So our flavor we were given was a fermented plum. So I made a baklava-inspired cheesecake with a fermented plum and date syrup filling coulis and a feuilletine and pistachio crust.
It works, dude. I really think that it was smart that you paired that fermented plum with date. It kind of just tempers some of the spiky sourness of the fermented plum. It's wonderful.
That fermented plum, that's actually part of my heritage. I grew up with fermented plum. The only thing that I would add to this is a little bit more salt to the plum, because I think what makes the fermented plum really sing is the balance of the sweet and the salty. It wavers back and forth, back and forth.
Thank you.
Shriek Squad, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce you to Frida Frostbite. She's actually Freddy's long-lost cousin from way up north. Instead of dying in a fire, she actually got abandoned on a hike where she froze to death. Frida is made out of rice cereal treats, modeling chocolate, fondant. All the snowdrifts in the back are made out of pumpkin, her fingers, her eyes, her heart. and the tasting element are all made out of sugar.
I'm not down with this family whatsoever. I don't want to see any more members of this family ever. Sarah Bloodstain, your pumpkin work is something that I've never seen before. You gave us this sense of like things sort of pushing through a surface.
For your special effect, even looking at your display, like I am so cold looking at it. I have the chills, so that was super effective. You went in with deep, deep shadowing. You went with highlights, lowlights, all the musculature and the movement, this dynamic body structure completely sings. All the details are bright and clear. I love the pulled sugar fingers. That is, without explanation, looking at that, I can tell she's related to Freddy Krueger.
What'd you make for us to taste today?
Our nightmare ingredient was ketchup.
Ooh.
So for you all today, we have a toasted honey and ketchup marshmallow with a sweet tomato jam and a yam chip with a little tomato powder.
What's really interesting about these textures is you have this kind of soft, gooey marshmallow, which does kind of feel like we're biting into flesh. And then the thin layer of tomato jam almost gives it like a slight jerky flavor because I do taste the savoriness of it.
I will tell you that I think that you tamed that ketchup so much in that marshmallow that I'm not necessarily getting it there, but I get the echo of it in that tomato jam, and I prefer it.
Scream of the crop. Thank you. We got to go warm up now.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Our pumpkin carver, who looks vaguely familiar, was carving a serpent into his pumpkin, and it came to life. Right here we have, of course, Mike, who carved all this out of pumpkin and put his sea serpent that was going to be articulated, but that pumpkin just bleeds liquid on the inside. The mechanism got wet, and it's not working.
Oh. Gina, great job. That pumpkin carver looks just like Mike.
Dead on. Exactly. I was waiting for you to do that.
That's so good.
It's so awesome.
Mike, I love the sort of serpentine shape of your serpent creature, and I thought it was very smart the way that you constructed it. So the special effect portion was part of the challenge, and I'm not really seeing anything.
What I like about what you've done here with the finish of your work is that everything in reality is quite clean. The floor's clean, the wallpaper's clean, and the pumpkin carver, who looks exactly like Mike, is clean. And then the dream part starts to get a little bit wacky, right? The colors are kind of crazy. The painting of the serpent as well. It doesn't look like anything that exists in reality.
What are we tasting today?
You're trying a brioche tart with a furikake on the top and pearl sugar and a vanilla diplomat cream, and then little gooseberries that I deglazed with sake.
I do wish that you used the seaweed somewhere else in the tasting because you've only added a sprinkle of it on top. It's not even that much. So I think the seaweed flavor is a bit lost on me. But that aside, this is really delicious.
I love the texture of your brioche and the cream that you put in the middle. But yeah, there's just not enough seaweed in it, love.
Killer instincts. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Death by Deco. Let's talk about your nightmare.
Emily is an artist, and she loves ravens. They're creepy, they're spooky. But tonight, as she is about to finish her painting, she finds herself being swept into the wings of terror.
Matt, your pumpkin work is extraordinary. The emotion that you managed to garner through the way that you carve is really great. We asked you to show up, and show up you did, so well done. The other bright point for me is Emily. I think that there's terror on her face. I love that little detail, her sort of scratching on the floorboards. I really like the flapping of the wing. I do wish you'd had it on both sides. I think it feels a little odd.
This is a very terrifying scene here, especially this looming dark raven in the background. I think that is so well done.
So, what are we tasting today?
You are tasting a shortbread cookie topped with a sweetened mascarpone, a fig and Castelvetrano olive, and rosemary olive oil.
Wow, that is definitely savory sweet. The mascarpone tastes so cheesy. And I really like that. I also love the compote that you got out of the olive.
I love that you paired fig with olive, and I particularly love that you went with the Castelvetrano olive. It is my favorite. It is fruity, it is green, but I think something as simple as a little bit of flaky salt over the top would have really nailed this.
Death by Deco, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, teams. You all gave us quite a fright. But one of you delivered a nightmare that was a Halloween Wars dream come true for our judges. The winner of this challenge is... I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. Scream of the Crop. Your Frida did Freddy Krueger proud. But for two of you, this is about to feel like a bad dream.
Shriek Squad, you took home the win in the first challenge, but this piece feels worlds away. While there are great moments for each of you, the piece as a whole feels messy and lacks control.
Killer Instincts. I love how, Gina, you were able to perfectly capture Mike in Cake. Unfortunately, you were asked to add a special effect for some Hollywood magic to your nightmare, and it was a bust.
You are all amazing artists, but we have to send a team home tonight. Shriek Squad, that fermented plum tasting element saved you. I'm sorry, Killer Instincts. It's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Well done, well done.
Love you too, Gina.
Congratulations. You five lived to frighten another day. We'll see you next time on the next Halloween Wars.
There's going to be a lot of engineering.
Wow, Eric, really big.
The 5 remaining teams imagine truly chilling costumes.
I think I found my new little niche.
Yeah! Woo! For when monsters go trick or treat.
Come on, baby.
And just rub it in with your hands.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted.
Here goes the neighborhood.
Welcome to Henson Laboratory. Last time in the lab, it was all about Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
It goes with the mostest.
It's showtime. Joelle picked up immunity,
This is stunning.
and Carly's big cupcake mini pie
The filling did not set up.
led her straight to the cryo chamber. I will never get used to that. Oh, and tonight, the bakers make mouth-watering mutations. Hold on to your seats.
That looks like a nightmare,
The drama.
but eats like a dream.
It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Oh, you. Hello, bakers, and welcome to the Research and Development Division of Henson Labs. We have made some groundbreaking discoveries here. The Smellophone, that was us. The clip-on tie. Okay. And our newest development, candy corn teeth. This was an extremely important breakthrough because the spirits that haunt our labs are obsessed with two things: candy corn and body parts. That's why today you bakers will pair up into teams of 2. For your Thriller Challenge, each duo will create a stuffed dessert inspired by a different flavor of candy corn, like caramel apple, pumpkin spice, s'mores, or blackberry cobbler, okay?
lights are right at your door.
I know, but there's...
In 3 minutes, it's 9. Yep.
What?
Yeah.
You still are?
Yes.
Not to his body.